In Revenge of the Sith, Anakin commits his dark deeds when he carries out the deadliest order that the galaxy had ever seen, the infamous Order 66. We all know the story. The temple falls, but so does Anakin when Obi-Wan defeats him on Mustafar, sentencing him to a life as Darth Vader in the metal suit. Even though he is eventually redeemed by his son over 2 decades later, the damage was done. Trillions were dead. So what if things didn't go this way, but instead, what if Anakin stopped during Order 66? Anakin was ravaging the Jedi Temple, sacking it in the light of day and murdering everyone in sight. He had just taken out one of his fellow Jedi, and the weight of what he was doing was starting to dawn on him. He paused, his lightsaber still humming in his hand, and looked around at the carnage that surrounded him. Clones were firing upon Jedi all around him, and Anakin knew that what he was doing was wrong. He had to act fast if he was going to save any of them. He quickly made his way through the temple, taking out any clone that crossed his path, and eventually found himself in a room full of younglings. The young Jedi looked up at him with fear in their eyes, and Anakin knew that he had to act quickly if he was ever going to save them. He quickly ushered them out of the room, and they began to make their way towards the exit. Anakin felt like a fool. He had fell right into Palpatine's trap. Their entire friendship was a lie. He had been manipulated beyond recognition. Anger began to swell within him, but he had to contain it. It didn't matter anymore. Now he had to save the Jedi Order before it was too late. As they made their way through the temple, they were ambushed by a group of 501st clone troopers. They began to fire upon them. Anakin knew that he had to buy the younglings some time if they were going to make it out alive, so he charged towards the clones. This was a suicide mission, but he would do whatever it takes to save them. He must redeem himself, he thought. Anakin fought with all of his might, taking out clone after clone with ease as they fired upon the children. But as Anakin fought, he began to notice something strange. The clones were not firing upon him, even though they had every opportunity to do so. He would stand directly in front of them, yet no blaster bolt would come anywhere near him. Confusion immediately took over Anakin's mind. He didn't know why they weren't firing upon him, but he thought that he had to take advantage of the situation. Unbeknownst to Anakin, in the clone troopers' inhibitor chips, Palpatine had programmed the clones to not fire at Anakin. So when Order 66 was given, the clones fired upon every Jedi except him. Anakin continued to fight, buying the younglings the time that they needed to escape. By the time the younglings had made it out of the Jedi Temple, Anakin was surrounded by hundreds of clones who still didn't dare fire upon him. Anakin found himself alone in the temple. Clones marched up and down searching for any stragglers, but all that was left were the dead bodies of fallen Jedi Knights. Anakin had managed to save dozens of Jedi, including many younglings, but the damage was still catastrophic, and he knew that all over the galaxy, troopers were gunning down their Jedi generals. It was all his fault, Anakin thought to himself. Anakin knew that he had to evade the Empire, and so he hid in the temple until further notice. He waited patiently, knowing that he could not leave until it was safe to do so. He had lost track of time. In his mind, he could have been there for weeks, but it was hours, days at most. Eventually, he sensed the presence of his old master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he knew that it was time to come out of hiding. He met up with Obi-Wan and Yoda. They already knew that he was to blame for the Jedi Purge after seeing a hologram of him slaughtering Jedi. Anakin apologized for what had happened and explained that he stopped halfway through Order 66, knowing that it was wrong. He didn't beg for forgiveness, as he knew he wouldn't get any. That he had to earn. Obi-Wan was furious with him, but Yoda calmed him down and told him to have patience. They would deal with his punishment later. For now, they had to stop Palpatine. The three of them made their way to Palpatine's office, where they found the Dark Lord of the Sith waiting for them. Palpatine was surprised to see Anakin, but he did not hesitate to ignite his lightsaber. Anakin had chosen his side. Besides, in Palpatine's mind, Anakin had completed his mission. He was the reason that Palpatine had control over the entire galaxy. The three Jedi fought valiantly against Palpatine, using all of their Force abilities to try and take him down. But it was Palpatine who gained the upper hand. He was using his experience to garner control over the three Jedi at once. He connected his blade with Kenobi and shot bolts of lightning towards Anakin, all while dodging strikes from Yoda. His speed was impeccable, even for a complete duelist like Yoda. This fight was difficult. Palpatine continued to use his Force powers to make them falter. He choked Anakin and shot lightning to all four corners of the room. Palpatine was far too powerful, and he was able to push Yoda into the wall and out of the fight. He then turned and motioned his hand upwards, causing Obi-Wan to drop his lightsaber and be raised into the air, paralyzed. Palpatine was about to kill him. Anakin pleaded with Sidious to stop and not kill Obi-Wan. In a last attempt to save his old master, Anakin threw his lightsaber at Palpatine's head, but Sidious was able to force push it aside, leaving Anakin defenseless. Anakin knew that he had to act fast if he was ever going to save Obi-Wan. Palpatine motioned his hand to thrust Kenobi through the chest, but as Anakin charged towards them, he used the Force to yank Kenobi from Palpatine's grip. Palpatine's red blade went right through Anakin's heart as he fell to the floor. In this moment of confusion, Obi-Wan was able to call Anakin's lightsaber to him and shove the saber through Palpatine's stomach. It was done. Palpatine was dead, but so was Anakin. He had redeemed himself, committing the ultimate sacrifice to save the galaxy and enter a new era of peace in the Republic. After the defeat of Palpatine, Yoda and Obi-Wan moved to rebuild the Jedi Order. Kenobi recalibrates the Jedi beacon and calls the surviving Jedi back to the temple. To their surprise, many more returned than they had anticipated. Little did they know, through Anakin stopping halfway through Order 66, he was able to save countless Jedi from being killed. Yoda and Obi-Wan worked tirelessly to bring the scattered and traumatized Jedi together and help to heal them from the damage and trauma from the Clone Wars and Order 66. In Palpatine's stead, two candidates were put forward to replace him, Bail Organa and Padme Amidala, who had just given birth to twins. After a long and close vote, Bail and Padme agreed to be co-chancellor of the Republic, to share their ideas to make the Republic prosper and remain in peace for generations to come. Despite the tragic loss of Anakin Skywalker, his selfless act of saving the younglings and attempting to stop Palpatine before his demise earned him the respect of the Jedi Order. They honor his memory and acknowledge his bravery and sacrifice in trying to atone for his mistakes. In the following years, the Jedi worked to regain the trust of the galaxy, and they focus on protecting the people from the remnants of the Sith and the growing criminal underworld. Yoda and Obi-Wan, along with other Jedi leaders, implement a new approach to training and teaching Jedi, emphasizing the importance of emotional control and mindfulness to prevent any future Jedi from falling to the dark side. As time goes on, the Jedi become a symbol of hope and peace in the galaxy, and their teachings and practices become a model for other organizations to follow. The memory of Anakin Skywalker lives on as a reminder of the consequences of giving into fear and anger, and the importance of staying true to the values of the Jedi Order. In the end, the Jedi Order emerges stronger than ever, and the galaxy is once again at peace. The legacy of Anakin Skywalker lives on, not only as the one who fell to the dark side, but also as the one who redeemed himself and sacrificed everything to save others. If you enjoyed today's video, you must watch What If Palpatine Trained Anakin, or What If Mace Windu was at the Jedi Temple during Order 66. If you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a Patreon member. All proceeds go towards making better videos for you guys. As well as that, you will get cool perks and bonuses when you sign up. The links will be in the description below. Thank you all for watching, and may the Force be with you.